It's probably 5 years ago now.
2012, March.
2013 that I joined the course.
So I came on the course myself as a parent about 5 years ago.
I was introduced to through my sister-in-law, who was a facilitator, and that was 6 years ago.
At that time, my youngest son wouldn't settle in at the creche, so I couldn't complete it. However, the facilitators made sure that they got in touch with me a year later, and then I completed the course and went on to become a facilitator that summer and started facilitating in autumn.
And at that time, I'd had my youngest son, who was just a 6-month-old baby, and my eldest son was 5, and then my son Zach, who was 2 at the time. So it was a really good time for me to do that course.
Well, I find it on my way, to be honest, for the first time, because I find they are selling it as like outreach, and they talk to me about there is a course and we are doing this and that, the course called Being a Parent. And at that time I have twins, they are very young, and I have enough time for I say just let me go and do it, because as you see, my first language is not English, and that time I was just 1 year in England. And when I went for the first time, I say, just let me go and practice my language. But when I went there, anything has changed.
So one of my really good friends had just started facilitating with EPEC, and so she told me about the course and said to me, it's really good, come along. And so that's why I did it, just to meet other mums as well and see what the course was about.
It was through a children's centre that I went on to a programme and learned about strategies on the programme, and just thought, oh my word, this is amazing.
So when I walked into the room, I was just being curious, but once I started listening to the facilitators and getting to know the parents, especially because I was new to the country, I realized it was a diverse group of parents. I realized whatever that they were saying, it's coming out of a different mouth, but it was the same as what I was thinking. And I thought, okay, it's not just me who's going through all this.
It was at a time in my life where I was moving house, and my son at the time was 7, and he was really emotional. It was hard for him to leave his really close friends and move schools and things like that. And I just found that it was just really helpful for me to understand how he was feeling about that move, and help me to think about what his needs were and help him through managing how he was feeling about it all. So that's how it started, and it's escalated from there.
I had concerns about whether I was doing the right things with my youngest son, and so that's why I wanted to know. I wanted to learn. I generally like learning new things, and then so I just got hooked on to it, and I was so pleased when I was actually asked to come and complete the course.
Acknowledging feelings, I think that was one of my favourite skills that I learned.
Play and acknowledging feeling.
It's acknowledging feelings. I feel that a situation could be diffused in a moment with just saying, look, I know you're angry, I know you're upset, and it's okay to be those things. And it was a real revelation to me.
Just because it was something that was so simple but so powerful. And then the other thing I would say would be play, because that was just not my favourite thing to do with my daughter, but I realised that the impact that it was having on her ran really deep.
Being a parent, a single parent for 4 children, is actually not very easy. So I started from that part, giving special time for my children, play with them, and give them the chance to have the strategies that we call it non-directive play, and acknowledging their feeling. So that was the key for me to have a very, very good relation with my children.
Listening, thinking about, am I really listening? Do they know that I'm listening, and how do they know that I'm listening to them, and what impact that has? Am I at the kitchen sink and going, yeah, I am listening, I can hear you, or and how that just ends up with a child walking away because you're not really listening, in comparison to sitting with them and just sharing with them what they're telling you, and just being able to non-verbally tell them that you're there, you're listening, you understand what they're saying, you understand what they're talking about, and that you're interested in what they're doing, they're saying, or they've got to tell you.
Massive change in their behavior, and in the according to their relationship with their peer, and with me, and with their siblings. Things went absolutely different from the first time before I have that course. Yeah, it's absolutely very, very useful.
Even just acknowledging feelings, I feel like that has just brought a situation where they've been so overwhelmed and overcome by their feelings, or whatever the situation may be, and just by acknowledging what's going on has just really brought them right down, calmed them down, and they felt that they've been listened to, and that's just kind of just diffused whatever situation that they're in. So that's been really, really helpful.
Rewards and star charts worked really well for my youngest son, and time out at that time worked well for my son who was 7, my middle son, who's got special needs. And then by that time my eldest was 8, so I didn't have to apply time out with him, because I felt he was a bit too old for it. But so it's depending on which stage they are. That's why I love the term, the toolkit, because when we facilitate courses, some of the parents might feel, oh no, this might not work for me. However, because it's a toolkit, depending on your need, there's always a tool which you can try out.
Previously, it would be, say, my son getting annoyed, getting angry, and then I would then get, why are you angry, or just kind of retaliate in the way that he would be. Whereas being able to acknowledge, it's just being able to step back and say, look, I know you're angry at your brother, and it's fine to be angry. And with Joel, he would, my eldest at the time, he would just be able to accept it, and he still does. If I can, just say, look, I know you're angry, it's okay. And he goes, yeah, I am angry. And it doesn't take it any further.